All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is 11 o'clock, and I'd like to welcome you all to the commercial underwriting show. So, today, there's we're gonna be discussing. We're gonna be looking at two properties. Now, as you know, we're scheduled to run till 12 for an hour. However, if after we run through these two things, if there's no questions or nothing, then the show will, then we'll go ahead and conclude and, so forth. But so let's see how it play out. But there are, uh, there's a few things that we're going to take care of today. And we're looking at two properties. Okay. We're looking at two properties. So I'm glad to see everyone signing in. I'm glad Richard Copeland is here because Richard Copeland is going to play a very big part in today's activity with the property, right? So, so how is it that Mr. Copeland is going to play a big part? Well, Richard Copeland is a finance person who handle loans. He know how to structure them, and he knows what's going on in the market. Okay, he knows the rates and so forth. So the two properties that we are looking at, we have underwritten these properties, we have discussed these properties, but we need to know what our rates looking like for today, right? So that's what we're going to be discussing on the show today. Hey, how you doing, Ms. Vargas? Haven't seen you in a long time.
Yes, hi, good morning. I know it's been so long, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to get back in the game and get a little bit more acclimated since it's been a few years.
All right,
When I saw the emails come in, I'm like, it's time for me to join in. How are you?
fantastic. Well, welcome back. All right,
Thank
welcome back. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.
for sure.
Okay. So Richard, as you know, we've been looking at the property in Florida. We've been looking at a property in Arkansas. But the thing is, man, the numbers just not panning out. Now, the property in Florida, um, he's coming in at 13 million. That's what he wants. But that's pushing us down to um a four. I think it's like a four cap. So, and this seller appears not to be very flexible. So, so the agent, although the agent is not really officially the representative, he's been working with the seller just to see if he could get a buyer. So the agent brought the property to me because he knows about us. He knows that we take down properties. So let me share my screen and show you the property. Yeah, this is the Florida one right here first. I'm gonna do the Florida one because I want to see if Billy Miller's gonna come on. Because Billy Miller is aware of the second one. All right, so let me share my screen. All right. Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah, and Billy just came in.
Oh, Billy just okay, great,
Yeah.
great. So after this one here, we'll discuss, we'll jump over to the other two.
Okay.
I mean the other one. So Richard, this is what we're up against right here. Now, I'm gonna ask you, sir, if you would please take a look at my friend. This is the financing tab. We're looking at a 5-year hold, right? And what I did, he's right here, he's coming at 3.47 because he wants 13 million. Now he purchased this property because I did a little bit of research, and he purchased this property, I do believe it was 2020. He paid $10 million. But my problem that I'm having is, in order for my numbers to make sense, I have to come in at 8.3. So, so what are you seeing for rates in the market? I underwrote at a 6.5. Can I come down, or would you say that I think you better go up?
What city? Is it
Tampa.
near Tampa? You should be able to come down. You probably around on a 5-year deal. You probably around uh 5.5, 5.75, somewhere in there, depending on
Okay.
where the market is, where the rates are.
All right. So I'm going to go 5.75.
How about 5.65?
Go 5.65.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That looks better. Now that means I could come up. I could come up in price. It's not going to be much, but let's see where I could go. Can I go with a 7? No, I got a 7,000 negative NPV. So let's see if I could drop. Let's see if we could drop this 5 to a 1. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, all right. So as we can see here, everyone. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I want to show you something. Okay. He's coming in at 3.47, and we're coming in at, for interest rate now. This is interest rate. He's coming in at 3.47, interest rate 5.65. Okay. In order for this, if I was to offer him 13 million, which is a 3.47 purchase cap, the first thing you're going to see is a big red that's going to come right here. And it's going to say the sale price exceeds total project cost. All right. And then you're going to see that these numbers turn awkward, right? They like, boom, not good at all. So, and that's with the 5.65. All right. Now, this is where, just to learn, all right, just to learn, you could say, well, where would the interest rate have to be if I wanted to offer him the 13 million, okay, to get this property? Now, this is a learning thing. Okay, so let's just say we would like to offer him 13 million. We're coming in at 3.47. How many, before I even start playing with the numbers, how many of you believe that the interest rate is going to be less than 3.47? How many would say that the interest rate is going to be less than 3.47? Don't be afraid.
Is it IO only or is it principal and interest?
For the okay, so for the first 3 years, IO only, and then for the remaining 2 years, you'll have the P&I.
Okay.
Don't be afraid. How many think the interest rate will be less in order for our numbers to make okay? Richard says thumbs up. But see, he's a finance guy, right? So he knows the answer. All right. Okay, so let's not delay. Let's go ahead and move on. Continue. All right. So right here, right now, we're at a 5.65. We need this here to turn green, and we need these numbers. We need a positive. All these negatives got to come positive to look at this. This is awful. So let's go ahead and start playing with the interest rate. So we're going to drop it to a 4. We're going 4. Where are we? Okay. So with the 4, we still got a red. These turn positive, but they're not where we need them to be because our discount rate is at 15. So we need this to be 15, or at least close to 15, and this will turn positive, right? So right now, just tell you that you're not doing very well. You're losing money, right? The NPV. So now, okay, so I just said let's drop this down. Okay, let's make it equal to the cap rate. Let's make it equal to the cap rate, 3.47. Now what? Oh, well, as you can see right here, that's still red. And this came up. But we still got a negative, and this still is no money. Okay. This is still no money. Okay. And that's at a 3.47. So now we just gonna go ahead on. Let's drop it down to a 2. What do we have? So I still got a red. This still a negative. That means this would have to be even less than 2 in order to give him 13 million. As you can see, it will have to be less than 2. And so that means take it to a 1. Nah, not even a 1. It's gonna be less than 1. Okay. So let's undo all of this. And let's go the other way. Let's say, okay, so we had a 5 point, no, we was at, yeah, hold on, 5.65. That's where we are. No, but Richard said, I do believe Richard said 6, right? Yeah, 6 points. Oops.
5.65
5.65.
on the right here.
Oops.
You should be actually
Come
do a little
back.
bit better
There
than
you
that,
go.
but
Yeah, because I said 5 points. Okay, 5.65. So as you can see right here, in order for this, in order for this deal to make sense, I could still offer, I could still probably go up to a 4, but yeah, well, let's just leave it right here. Let's just say right here, because it's not gonna, I'm either way it go, I'm not gonna get anywhere near 13 million. It's not gonna happen. All right. So your next question is going to be, well, this is the question that I'm going to ask everyone. Did you review the rents? Can rents come up? All right. Um, did you talk to a property manager? Can the right here? Did you talk to a property manager to see if any of these rates here, any of your expenses to be adjusted? And that's these. This is right here. And this building is a 1968 building. Okay. So would you, and if you look at what the expenses are right here, 350, 13, 3, 2, 3, 350. For a 1968 building, I really wouldn't change any of this. I would let it stay. Not unless the property manager was to say, yo, you could bring this down, or that down. Okay. And so for right now, we're gonna let this stay. However, I don't believe that even if we did bring it down, it's going to help us with that 13 million, or get to a point where we could offer him even 10 million. Okay. The one thing that really, looking at the expenses, and if you look at his expenses and his T12 expenses and mine's, you'll notice that mine's is almost $100,000 more than his. And the two things that really went up is right here. Right there. The insurance and the property taxes. The insurance covers flood. Tampa is in a flood zone. This property is in a flood zone. Okay. So that was one thing. But then when I had to look at what the taxes are, I got in contact with the tax assessor office and had to go to their website and boom, here it is right here. This is so in order for me, I should really adjust the purchase price because the purchase price that I put in was 13 million. So if I was to adjust that purchase price down to say 10 million, yeah, then it would be less. It would be less, and it may bring me back. It may bring me at 10 million. However, I think I did close it. Yes, I did. So, but however, the seller, they said he's not going to budge off of the 13 million. Okay, off of the 13 million. So, from this particular deal, I will go back after the meeting. I will go back to the tax assessor's office, put in 10 million, see where the numbers, even yeah, with the because I don't know, it may bring me up to about 9 million, close to 10, but to see where we land, and if we could land, I say 10 million, I think I would look at drawing up a LOI. But first, I would have to go down there and take a look at the property. Right. So, any questions and what we discussed, and matter of fact, any questions? What questions do you have in reference to this property right here? And don't be shy, please. Don't be shy. What would you do? Matter of fact, would you just drop it at this point and say, forget about it? Don't be afraid. Or would you go back to the tax assessor's office, put in a $10 million purchase price, and see what the taxes are? See if you could bring up the your offer price to get close to the 13 million, because right now we're not close to the 13 million. Okay, so what would you do in this for this particular asset? Come on, talk to me.
I would take that first step to look at the 10 million, see what those numbers come in at, and then look at some other things. Can you reduce any expenses anywhere else? Is there something hidden in their numbers that show more expenses than what they are? If you can't even get close to the 9.5, 10 million rate, then I would let it go.
Yeah,
I would
that's what I
watch
was thinking.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would watch it, but
Mhm.
I would likely let it go and see if it goes into foreclosure. Because does he have to sell, or can he hold off until he gets his price?
Right. And that's a good question. That's a good question. All right, cool. Anyone else? Let me get some feedback, everyone.
Hey, Darryl. So
Yeah.
the first thing you touched on was, is there room to get the rent? So you check the market rent, but
Right.
because of the economic cycle you're in, I'm not pushing rent. So cutting expenses would be looking at ways to cut expense if there is any. Um, and obviously checking to make sure it's not poor management why the numbers are not panning out where they should be if the market's healing. But when you said Tampa, I know the Tampa market really good. Unless you're sitting in Ybor City and you're looking at land that's worth a lot of money, then that might be their reason for holding out. But from numbers perspective, this is definitely you got to go back to the drawing board and come up with a whole lot of different scenario for this to pan out to be, equitable for
Right.
any investors.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. I'm gonna have to look at this thing from all different angles. Because right now it's not working. But Moses, for the Tampa market, is Tampa really coming in at a 3.47 on their market cap?
Well, that's what I just wrote in the text. I mean, you said Tampa, but what's the area cap rate? Because I don't know of any that's bringing in this kind of number as to an area cap, unless it's
Right.
a brand new. Yeah, and you said it's not a core asset. So
Correct.
um, that that definitely doesn't fit right in the equation at
Right.
that 2.75.
So, and what I found, and now correct me if I should make an adjustment, but what I found for market cap for this area was a 5.
Now, I would think that or even higher because the market's not as aggressive as it was. As much as population and job growth is heavy,
Yeah.
the debt's stifling it. So that's why I said if it was an IO, you can risk waiting game with an IO only, but um, with a full debt repay, you're gonna struggle.
Yeah. So now I have a question for everyone. Okay. I have a question for everyone. If he's asking a 3.47 cap, but the market is 5, what questions are going through your mind right now? The market is 5, but he's coming in at 3.47. What questions are going through your mind right now? Tell me. And don't let it be the same people that's talking. Come on, everybody.
Would it be that maybe the property is a heavy value add for the cap rate to be so much lower than the market cap rate?
Hmm. So you said you said a heavy value add?
Yeah, or value add because for the property cap rate to be much lower than the market cap rate. That's if I understand it correctly. That can happen when the property is a value add. It's not stabilized. And correct me if I'm wrong.
So property is stabilized. That's for sure.
Oh, it is.
And from looking at the rents, right? Oh, you can't see my screen. Hold on one second. Let me share. Let me share. So this way you understand exactly what I'm talking about. So these are the average rents right here. Right here. This is the average rents. What was pulled off of the rent roll? 16, 13, 18, 71, 21, 67. And one bed, one bath, and there's 32 of them that would be if we were to renovate and if we could push those rents to 1800, then we would be that, if you look right here, we're looking at 187. There wasn't, wait a minute, if I recall, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't believe there was much renovation. I really don't. But according to what I found here, the reason why this wasn't up for renovation is because there wasn't that much of a spread between the average and what the projection could be. But for here, I said, whoa, if we could really bump these to 18, bump this to 23, we would be looking at a great spread on our return. You're looking at over $100. So, but that's the question. So, but to answer your question, the property is stabilized. It is. How much renovation will need to be done? I don't know exactly. But if I could get these numbers close to that 10, if I get that number to 10 million, then I'm gonna jump on a plane, see who else want to go with me to Tampa and see this property.
I think its asking price is just too high.
Yep, that's for sure. Yep.
I
Yeah.
have another question. So you would actually go and visit the property prior to putting in the LOI?
Yeah.
Okay. But you're not walking any of the units, you're just looking at the outside of the property or?
No, we're gonna walk those. We're gonna walk that property. We're gonna walk the units. We want to see we want to see the inside. How
Oh,
much
okay.
money I got put into the inside of that thing?
Oh, so they will allow that although you haven't submitted a LOI?
Yeah. The broker, whoever you're working with, like even not just this property, but if you get the broker or seller, and they're not going to allow you to walk that property before that LOI, that's like a red flag to me. That's a big red flag. Why is that a big red flag? Because, well, you could submit the LOI because the LOI is not a legally binding contract, but
So where do you value your time at?
yeah, because so if yeah, because and I agree with Alicia. My time, as long as the numbers make sense, yeah, I'll go down there. I'll fly down there, make sure that let's take a look at the property. Or if I know someone that's in that area, I would ask them to tour the property, the vacant units, because you can't see anything that people are living in, but you can see the vacant ones, and there's 4 vacant ones. So you can look at the 4 vacant ones. This is going to give you an idea of your renovation, what you may want to do, not do, stuff like that.
And keep in
And
mind, it's not a full walkthrough when you're doing the LOI. You're not going into each and every unit. They're going to show
right,
you a couple units, and then you move on.
exactly. And also just to piggyback on what Moses said, right? Like in today's economy, like Moses said, hey, I'm not really jacking up rents on my units because of the economy. So that's another thing too. Go down there. I'm familiar with Tampa, but I don't live in Tampa, so I would really need to go down there, or if I know someone that is there, that could be boots on the ground, and maybe even be a part of the deal. Because if you're going to tour the property for me, I'm definitely going to offer you a spot on the team because I appreciate you touring. So, but yeah, normally, I don't know who asked that question, but normally before you submit that LOI, go take a look at that property, tour the property. All right, see what you're getting.
Would it be customary in this day and age with technology to like ask them to do maybe a FaceTime tour prior to traveling down there? Like a live thing, or have them maybe do like a video to send it, or would that
No.
be seen as maybe not being serious?
So, the funny thing about this seller, he said he's not going to take anyone serious if they don't come down to take a look at the property. That's what this seller said. Now I'm going to throw now what Ms. Vargas asked. Now I'm going to throw that out to the brokers that's on this page. Billy, Moses, Alicia, Sean, uh, John. So if if someone approached you with that, what would y'all say?
I would want to know what they own first. Give me a little bit about their history, their owning history. How many properties do they have? Do they operate? What their financing looks like, how far along they are in their financing journey. If they're paying cash, that's all going to determine if we do a video walkthrough. Because time is valuable, right? So your time, the broker's time, everybody's time. They're going to want to get to know you a little better before they do that. And your reason on why you can't come down to see the property is going to be important as well.
Any other broker want to weigh in?
No, I agree with Alicia. I mean, that's kind of like how I am as well. I mean, I've met some owners and they're pretty much about the same way. I need to know who you are first before we move any forward. You know, what's your background? You know, even a couple of properties I looked at here, they want to know, like, who are you? What's your background? Who's your team? What have you guys done before? You know, before they even think about dealing with you.
Yeah. All right. Any other broker want to weigh in?
How about non-brokers?
Nah, just brokers. All right. So there you go. From the broker perspective, you asking that question to the broker. Now, be prepared for that, because a lot of brokers, they'd be like, I'm not doing it. So,
I think Richard.
all right.
Richard unmuted.
Oh, go ahead, Richard.
I didn't have a comment. The screen popped up saying you wanted to unmute me, so I unmuted.
Oh. All right. So, okay, so we got a lot, we covered a lot of ground on that Tampa, property. Let's now jump over to the other property. Hold on a minute. Let me close this one. And now we're going to jump over to the other property. All right. So let me, hold on a second. Let me share my screen. Okay. So here we go. This seller, he wants 4.8 million. And in order for us to acquire this property, we're coming in at 3.1. Now we're not that far. We're really not that far from 4.8. So Richard, looking at, let me move my screen over. What would you need to see up here, or what would you need to know so that we could get an idea of what interest rate is for Arkansas? That's what the property is in Arkansas.
Right, what part of Arkansas?
North Little Rock.
North Little Rock. I need to double check. Are we talking about agency debt? I need to double check. Is that a standard market or considered a small market? Because that would affect the rate, and that would also affect your debt service coverage. Because if it's considered a small market, you drop out of the 1.25 down to like a 1.35.
So this one I'm gonna ask Billy, because Billy is the broker in this market.
It's going to be the Little Rock MSA.
Say that one more time.
It's going to be the Little Rock MSA.
All right. Assuming that's a standard market, you're still at a 1.25 on the debt service coverage. So you're probably on a 5-year deal, you're probably looking around 5.65. I need to double check that, but yeah, you're probably around the same spot.
Hey, Darryl, can you like do like a follow-up? I mean, not a follow-up, but just rehash or just tell people a little bit about the property as much as you can share without, any detailed information for
Sure.
those that may not have been on the call last week.
Okay, sure. So this property here, it's I think about 56 units, no, 60 units, and some ones, twos, studios. We went through, looked at now let's what we're not going to be able to play with a lot here is the rent. Okay. So this is the effective rent taken from the rent roll. These are where we are looking at possibly trying to achieve in this market. Okay. So, and we will only be renovating the what was it, 2 bedrooms, 2 bed, 2 bath. Class is only 26 of them. So we will only be renovating this to push this up to 11 to get $1,100, right? So now, looking at our expenses, I'm just going to show you a property manager did look at the expenses, and she said, let them stay right where they are. This is an older building, 1960. Do not change this. We have the management fee at 4%. So now, if you look at the T12, their T12 compared to my year one numbers for expenses, you're going to see that we're really not that far apart. Okay. Taxes, we got our tax number, insurance number from the insurance company direct from JT. We got our tax number directly from the tax assessor's office. And if you look at our numbers, we're really not that far off. It's a few things that they may not have that we have, right? But we're not going to mess with any of our numbers, okay? So with the underwrite, putting 5,000 renovation, 4,000 in the exterior, and these are per unit, 4,000 per unit, and that's 5,000 per unit, okay? Brings us to the finances to where he's asking 4.8, and we're at 3.1. Now, even with a 5.75, even with a 5.75, as you can see, there's not really much I could do here. And you know something, I was thinking, and I'll get with Billy and Alicia and I are working on this. I will get with them. For what we could see, this is the best we could do on this property. So that's just a little recap of what's going on.
Hey, Darryl, you bounced around a lot, but I couldn't see. What's the monthly gross rent or annual gross rent?
So the gross rent is right here. So we got the rent right here coming from the T12,
That says
667, 742. And then when you look at the gross operating income, we're coming in at a little above a 700 for T12 in year one, a little more than 700 on year one. The NOI looks, the expenses, as you can see right here, they're coming in about where they should, 58%, 56%. And
Darryl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to make a quick revision in the rate. I didn't look at the loan amount, and it's dropped to SBL versus conventional, so you probably be closer to 6.5.
What?
Yeah. The other deal was a conventional deal, so the rate's a little bit cheaper, but this falls in the SBL space, so it's a little bit more costly.
All right, so that's 6.5.
Sorry about that.
No problem, no problem. No, that's what this is about. That's what this is about. So either way it go, we still looking at. Oh, did I answer your question? Okay,
Uh,
so NOI is coming
I
in right
didn't want
here.
NOI, I wanted a gross annual rent, not potential. What is it making? How many vacancies do you have?
There was only 4 on here.
What's the average rent?
The average rent is coming in. Hold on a minute. The average rent is coming in around. Oops, right here. Uh, just a 920. Average rent coming around
Let's
920.
go 920 times 4 times 12. That'll take 47,000 minimally off of that gross rent number you showed up at the top of 667.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask this question. What kind of strategy you think would be ideal for a property like this right here? The one thing I will tell you one thing. I'm thinking about what Moses said before on on the other property. I'm thinking about what Moses said.
What did Moses say?
Moses said he's not raising rents right now in this economy. He's sort of holding steady.
So what it's making is what it'll make. Good point.
It's definitely going to help with tenant retention, especially when the property sells from one landlord to another.
Is this on or off market?
On market.
Okay. How long has it been on the market?
Billy,
I'm gonna say about a month now. It's been on the market.
Okay. All right. So that's still not enough time to, they're probably still filling out offers and things like that. So look like your purchase price is 3.1. They're asking for or 4.8. Okay. They're asking 4.8. That being said, I guess that's a conversation to have with the broker, just like, hey, what type of offers have come in that they've turned down? And you may just want to just have the conversation with the broker, like, hey, my number is coming in the threes. Have they turned down numbers like that yet? And what's the motivation of the seller?
mm-hmm. Excellent.
All right. What's the seller doing with the money? How long has the person owned it? Why aren't they doing it 1031? I guess you don't need to ask that question, but you could have that in the back of your mind.
Well, let me ask this. Knowing if, yeah, okay. Never mind. I was thinking about something else. Um, did everybody notice when I reduced year 1 rent growth to a 0? Did everybody notice what happened on the IRR and the other numbers? Did anybody pay attention to that?
It reduced, didn't it?
Yes, they did. See right there?
Went to 13%, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we have to, if we held tight here, could we possibly make this a 2.25 and year in that year and across, oops, to right here, because we're going to sell in 5.
Is there a perceived understanding of rehab status of all the units? I mean, have they recently been touched?
Yeah, some of them, yeah, yes, they have. Some of them have been touched. Some of them, that's why we changed our renovation budget to just where is it? To right here where we only just doing one. Uh as Billy walked through the units, he was like, no, don't do this, don't do that. He said, but so
Billy's been there?
just these. Yeah, he's been there.
Okay. How long has the owner owned it?
I think we saw what, 3 years?
Yeah, we saw 3 years, like
3 years.
2022.
Yeah.
Did he add any renovation to any of the units?
Yeah,
Yes.
he did.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he put out a lot of money.
I would look at
Would-
it like this. I would not do any renovations if we're not increasing rent. And maybe, if there's turnover, then you upgrade each individual unit as you go.
Okay.
And that may save you money up front because I think this was the one that they purchased it at 4 million.
Yeah,
What was
That's
that,
right.
Alicia? We're speaking quietly.
The owner purchased the property at 4 million.
Okay, so they
So
were
you
wanting
need
at
to
least
get
4
close.
million and one, right?
Say
Yes.
that again.
Alicia explained why, whether their business plan going into this, because the ownership is only 3 years, they got 26 Moneymaker, which is the 2 bedroom that should have been their classic that needed to go to the next level. But they, because of debt service and all that's been eating up their cash flow, they kind of just delayed that. So that's why they probably didn't get this rent roll where they want it to be. Um, and that's why they probably, just trying to stay afloat because they can't move the numbers. And then you also have, if it's a smaller market, I don't know, I know Arkansas is decent, but I don't know north of it well enough to say whether they can push much more under 2 bedrooms when they renovate them. But that's where the boots on the ground would come in to see what you can maximize on.
Speaking of that, Moses, I believe what ate their pockets was when they had to put out money for a boiler chiller.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's more than likely they didn't get to execute their business plan according to what they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any thoughts? Tell me your thoughts. What would you do? How would you look at this? Don't be afraid.
Well, Dell, right off the back, 3 years, and now cap rates are higher. No matter where they go, they refi whatever, they still got to bail in. Um, so, or your numbers might be right. It's just that they're
Mhm.
in a bad spot. But you can't control cap rate. The guy who comes in at the right time is
Right.
going to take it of that.
Yeah.
And to offload this, now knowing that they bought it at 4, they want 4.8. You've underwritten it, and you're at 3.1, I believe.
Correct.
Really and truly, you can't move. Well, you can move the needle, but then that's going to also eat into um, profit as well as returns. So you may have to the seller. It almost kind of seems like at this point they're ready to, either give it back to the bank. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but that knowing where their loan is at, like you might be able to get it for, I don't know, 3.7 maybe. And that depends on if they had IO for the first year or two. So I'm saying that they're asking, well, their asking price, they will not get that. Not unless somebody got dry powder that they got to put to work. So I would maybe try to come up a little bit on the purchase price, but 4 million, you're probably not going to be making any money off of it. If you came up to 4, probably not going to make no money off of it. So stick conservatively with your numbers and and as I mentioned earlier, have the conversation with the
Yeah.
broker.
Yeah. The one thing that did cross my mind and that I brought up was looking at the price. They bought it at 4, selling it at 4.8. Did they raise money for this property? Because $800,000 that's going to be divided amongst LPs and GPs is not a lot. Not unless you have a very, very few LPs. And that was one thing that I looked at. I was like, wait a minute, four, he bought it at 4.8. There's not a big profit on that. Now, maybe I said, well, maybe it was just them. Like if it was 2 or 3 people that say, yo, we'll do this here, or 4 people, then maybe that's why they at 4.8. But $800,000 really is not a
They're
lot of
not gonna,
money.
they're not gonna get the 800,000. That's gonna be ate up mostly in fees and stuff like that. Seems like they're just trying to get out
Yeah. Okay.
and just trying not to come and trying to break even, not to lose any money.
Yeah.
They lost money when they bought it. They need to check that mirror.
There's
Yeah.
some strategies that can be taken. I mean, to notice what the seller's intent is. Does he still want, because he purchased this property for a reason in 3 years, and maybe he thought that he was going to be able to do something different. What could be done is to find out if a portion of the fee can be paid, right? So we can come in at 3 million and say, hey, that other 1.8 will give you in 5 years when we sell. We can pay you a certain amount of profits on a quarterly basis, as we do with our other investors, and maybe keep him on as an LP with the 1.8 in there. So, I mean, I would be creative in the response because it seems like it's a good asset. It's in a good area. Um, it it has some rebuilt HVAC, some new components to it. It does still need some work, and I'm sure he understands that. Find out what his plan is, right? And see if he'll take that opportunity because there's a reason why he bought it.
That's excellent. Something else to think about. All right. All right.
Yeah, I'm thinking his debt 3 years, whatever fixed period he has is over, unless he has a rate cap and or if he has to renew, then that's probably costing him some, some few shingles. There's something's going on
Yeah.
that probably motivating them to get out.
Yeah. The one thing what you definitely said was about that IO, the 3 years. If you got that 3-year IO, that principal and interest is about to kick in. He's going to go under. Maybe. He may be going under.
What was his loan amount for?
I don't know what the loan amount is for.
What's his monthly payment?
Really, you have that?
And that in front of me, I think it's only 212.
What was that, Billy?
I don't have the monthly payment in front of me right now. I can pull up real quick and see. It was on the T12, I believe.
Let me see. I looked on what? Hold on a second.
If it's
The
IO,
monthly.
you can tell what the
Um,
amount is.
no, his monthly payment's not up here. Maybe it would give us an estimate. It would do that. No, it wouldn't. Nope. Yeah, his debt service is not up here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Billy. I know what you're talking about now. I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, I do. There it is. There it is. It looks like he's already paying principal. He paid principal in February. He paid January and February, he paid principal. But in December, he only paid $1. It's like them principals are like scattered, which I've never seen before. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never seen that before. Richard, have you ever seen that before where the principal is scattered, where like in maybe 2 months principal and interest, and then the third and fourth month is just $1, and then the next couple of months is principal and interest, and after that it's just $1?
No, they're probably just an accounting error. I would
Oh,
assume, or it's a private loan and he's working something out with the lender.
What's the payment on the non-principal monthly contributions?
you know something, Richard? I'm sorry, sorry for 1 minute, but Richard, his interest, that sucker is jumping up and down, man. His interest payment, his annual interest payment is jumping up and down.
Could be on a
Like,
variable.
yeah, because believe it or not, he went from okay. I'm just going to go with December. No, I'm gonna go with in November. He went from a $13,000 payment to a $19,000 payment, almost 20 grand. That's 7,000 more. But then it dropped to a $14,000 payment. The highest his payment has been monthly is $20,000 on interest on it.
Do you know the interest rate?
No, I don't know the interest rate.
It may be an accounting error, or he
Or a
or he
variable.
paying in batches. Variable,
Yeah,
he paying in batches.
yeah. Maybe that's why he also want to get out because he don't know when it's going to jump to 20,000 again.
All right, let's just say he had an ugly scenario of 10% interest rate and a $20,000 monthly payment. That's a $2.4 million loan. So that's why I just wanted to get triangulate on what he borrowed and what he's really owing. I'll just say loan wise versus the down payment and how he acquired that. That's a different story. But he's got a $2.4 million loan, worst case.
All right.
And I doubt his interest rate's 10%.
So everyone, as you can see, we still have some work to do. More properties will be coming available. We will be underwriting. We will continue to underwrite potential properties. I love doing this here. You know what I'm saying? This is why I love doing. But we still got some work to do. All right. So I want to thank you all for coming to the Commercial Underwriting Show as we continue to move forward, underwriting properties, seeing which ones we could take down, and our team, Richard Copeland, he's on our team. That's who we're going to run to when we need our finance money. Richard Copeland, right there. And then we have our brokers here. We have Billy, we have Alicia, we have Sean, we have Moses, we have John. So I want to thank you all for coming out. I appreciate all of you for being here and taking us to that next level. So if anyone, and listen, everyone, I know we've been talking about commercial multifamily, but don't be afraid to bring something other than multifamily, commercial multifamily. We're sticking with commercial now. We're not doing residential. But if you have something like a strip mall, or I don't think we want to look at no office buildings right now. But Richard, I saw that. Richard said maybe. Okay, okay. I'll go with that. All right. So if you got an office building, let's bring it. See if Richard will work with us on that. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you all for coming. Let's get prepared for next week, because we're gonna have another deal that we will be presenting, and hopefully the numbers look even better. All right. Hopefully the numbers look even better. So thank you all for coming. And I'll see everybody next Tuesday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Commercial Underwriting Show. Alicia and Billy, hang around for me for a little bit. I won't take no more than about 2 minutes, if even that.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Mhm.